Saw dudes, I'm back, and this time we're going to go over the supposedly underpowered Prismatic Titan featuring the Hazardous Propulsion exotic chest piece. This exotic is probably one of the most unique, fun, and viable that has been released in a long time and turns the punchy class into one that chucks piss missiles at enemies. In a nutshell, this exotic piece causes precision kills, weapon kills, and precision hits to load up to 6 kinetic rockets, which are launched on a class ability cast. Each rocket landed increases rocket damage by up to 35%. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. Before we get into the build at all, we need to cover what gets buffed by Hazardous Propulsion. Of course, all rocket launchers get a damage buff. This includes Wolfpack rounds from Galley and Ergo Sum, the ignitions from Dragon's Breath, rocket-assisted sidearms, Buried Bloodline, the Rocket Barrage from Grand Overture, Nanotech Tracer rockets from Neo Muna weapons, and Quicksilver Storm's rocket impact damage. The vast array of options is great for build diversity. Anyway, now we can cover the game loop. Your main goal is to get precision hits, weapon kills, and precision kills to charge up Exodus rockets. Once you get to the maximum of 6 stacks, cast your class ability to send the piss missiles towards some poor souls. On contact, you'll get the enhanced rocket buff, which increases your outgoing rocket damage by a fair bit. Use this time to send even more poop projectiles towards enemies. After that, repeat from the top, using your abilities when you see fit. Rinse and repeat. Abilities for this build are fairly flexible. Since this is a prismatic build, you can use any of the supers you want, and I actually encourage you to try out each one since it will play into our Siphon mods later on. I primarily use Twilight Arsenal since it's one of the great one-off supers and provides a good bit of support for teammates. Otherwise, I usually run Blade Fury for easy ad clear and Harmonic Siphon synergy. Remember to switch the super according to your weapons. The class ability I chose to use is Rally Barricade. The lower cooldown plus the weapon bonuses are great for a rocket-based build. The melee ability will be Frenzied Blade for the severing effect and the 3 melee charges, which will play into our aspect. The grenade choice is Glacier Grenade for easy crowd control. If you want, you can swap this out for Suppressor Grenade. The aspects we will be using are Consecration and Diamond Lance. Yes, I know it's kind of lame, but Prismatic Titan is not in the best spot at the time of this video releasing. Consecration allows us to release a solar wave of energy on a slide melee. After the initial wave, we can reactivate to slam the ground and ignite any enemies that are hit by the initial cast. Diamond Lance causes enemies that are killed by stasis damage to spawn a stasis lance. Lances can be picked up and either thrown or slammed, with both attacks freezing enemies that are hit. Time for the fragments. We will use Facet of Command, Hope, Mending, Protection, Purpose, and Ruin. Command causes freezing or suppressing targets to reload the equipped weapon and grants stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness for 11 seconds, with the buff duration serving as a cooldown. Even though it was nerfed, this is a great fragment to have for damage rotations on champions and bosses. Hope grants a 60% additional base class ability regenerate while affected by an elemental buff. Mending causes grenade kills to grant cure times 1, and prismatic grenade kills to grant cure times 2. Protection grants 15% damage resistance while within 15 meters of 3 enemies. Purpose grants an elemental buff on an orb pickup depending on the equipped super. This will tie into Facet of Hope. Finally, Ruin increases the damage done by shattering crystals or enemies and the radius of ignitions. Now let's get to the armor. On the helmet, I used Harmonic Siphon, Special Ammo Finder, and Font of Wisdom. For the gauntlets, I use Heavy-Handed, Font of Focus, and Impact Induction. On Hazardous Propulsion, there was Concussive Dampener, Sniper Damage Resistance, and Harmonic Resistance. The boots had Recuperation and 2 copies of Variable Weapon Surges. These surges will change depending on your weapon choice later on. Lastly, the mark had Bomber, Reaper, and Time Dilation. Stats-wise, you'll need to max out Resilience. You are a Titan, so if you're not doing this already, you're a heathen. On more serious terms, Resilience lowers your class ability cooldown, which is crucial when using Hazardous Propulsion. The next stats you want to focus on are Discipline and Strength. Discipline can be maxed at 70 since we have a font mod. Strength is a nice stat as well, especially for ads that get too close. Before moving on to the weapon section, please consider subscribing. My dog is forcing me to say this. By the way, he won't let me out of the basement. We have a lot of ground to cover for weapon choices, so let's cut the chit-chat. First up, we have The Call, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Semiotician. For this combo, use Double Strand Surges. The Call is an amazing special sidearm and is a craftable Pale Heart weapon. The role I decided to craft was Quick Launch, High Velocity rounds, led from gold, and One for All. This gun is nuts. It has 3 damage buffs going for it. One for All, Hazardous Propulsion, and Weapon Surges. You will be able to chunk champions easily. Red Dead Redemption provides some much needed survivability and makes stacking Exodus rockets easy. Each kill with the gun grants cure times 2 and a massive reload speed buff. Finishing a reload right after a kill grants cure to allies nearby. In general, it's just a great weapon to have around to keep yourself alive. Semiotician is a nice strand rocket launcher and is craftable. The role I chose to craft is Quick Launch, impact casing, field prep, and explosive light. This roll has great damage, spectacular reserves, a built-in reload steroid, and a no-hassle damage buff. It's the cherry on top for a green apple-flavored weapon loadout. Next up, we're going to chug some Fanta. We have Chattering Bone, Aberrant Action, and the choice between Dragon's Breath, Eyes of Tomorrow, or Galahorn. Make sure you use double solar surges for this combo. Chattering Bone is a last wish pulse rifle and is perfect for single target damage and ad clear. The crafted perk combo I highly suggest trying out is Kill Clip plus Kinetic Tremors. With this roll, you'll have single target damage and AoE damage that doesn't even require a kill, the best of both worlds. Also, it makes stacking Exodus rockets even easier since the Tremors can kill red bars easily. Aberrant Action is a solar special sidearm, and though it hasn't been released yet, we can view its perk combos. The combo I suggest crafting when it drops is Field Prep in either Swashbuckler, Demolitionist, or Golden Tricorn. This gun looks amazing and should perform fairly well thanks to its unique perk combos. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Dragon's Breath can deal great boss damage and creates ignitions constantly, which gets buffed by Facet Ruin. The ignition damage does scale with the buff from Hazardous Propulsion and your solar surges, so it'll put in some work. Also, the auto reload makes it great for damage rotations. Eyes of Tomorrow can produce infinite ammo, assuming you kill at least 4 enemies with each volley. Killing 4 enemies returns ammo to the mag from thin air and grants the next shot a massive 50% damage buff. If you are in an ad dense activity and need the whole room to die, this is your heavy weapon. Galley is old reliable. It gets the job done and grants your teammates a sizable damage buff via Wolfpack rounds. If you need a mix of ad clear and boss damage, this is an easy choice. Since Galley also comes with 2 rounds in the mag, it has the easiest time utilizing the buff from Hazardous Propulsion. However, if you like Mountain Dew Purple Thunder, you might like this one. We have Rufus's Fury, Buried Bloodline, and Faithkeeper. Naturally, you will want to use double Void Surges. Rufus's Fury is my most glazed auto rifle. It's actually kinda getting disgusting. Admittedly, you can use any weapon in the kinetic slot, but I chose Rufus's Fury because it operates for mid-range well, and like the other choices, stacks our buffs quickly. I love using Demo plus Hatchling, but for this build, try out Rewind Rounds plus Target Lock. It's a super easy roll to run and plays well with our build. Buried Bloodline is technically a rocket-assisted sidearm, and it looks dope. Each shot fires 2 bolts that leeches 11 health on hit. Kills progress a counter that grants Devour upon reaching 100%. The Catalyst causes hits while Devour is active to apply the weaken debuff. Buried Bloodline is great for nearly everything in the game. It grants good survivability, damage, and allows us to regen our grenades faster via Devour. Faithkeeper is the newest Void rocket launcher and launched with the Echo seasonal activity. It comes with built-in tracking, but at the cost of damage per shot. That won't matter too much though, since our damage buff will make the loss negligible. The role I currently use is catered more towards nuking everything in sight through sheer ammo count, field prep, and bipod. However, if you want damage for boss phases, I would suggest field prep or clown cartridge with explosive light. I hope you like Skittles because we're getting a taste of everything. This loadout uses Michael's Reverence, Embraced Identity, and Two-Tailed Fox. You will want to use Void Surges for this one. Michael's Reverence is amazing up close, which we will need since the rest of our weapon slots handle mid to long range. Since it fires at full auto, it makes stacking easy and deals a buttload of damage. A role that is super fun and easy to use at any level is Rewind Rounds and Frenzy. It's like Subsistence, but better. Embrace Identity is yet another Pale Heart weapon and it does not disappoint. This adaptive sniper comes with the same perk combo as the Supremacy, Rewind Rounds, and 4th times the Charm. If you can land precision shots easily, you have better aim than me, then this sniper will be great for total damage and a boss phase. Two-Tailed Fox has great compatibility with our whole build. This exotic rocket launcher, with the Catalyst, fires a volley of 3 rockets. The Void Rocket suppresses, the Solar Rocket applies Scorch, and the Arc Rocket applies Jolt. Since the Void Rocket suppresses, it will auto-reload the gun once every 11 seconds, thanks to Facet of Command. I know the nerf killed the endless volley spam, but it's better than nothing. Now we come to the Chug Jug, Arc-flavored loadout. Outbreak Perfected, Indebted Kindness, and Crux Termination 4. Use double Arc Surges for this one. Outbreak Perfected is great in every area of the game. It comes with great ad clear capabilities, a damage buff loop that does not require kills, and can come in clutch for boss DPS if you run out of ammo. The craftable version comes with Rewind Rounds and makes the user experience that much easier, on top of having non-existent recoil. Indebted Kindness is a special ammo sidearm from Warlord's Ruin. This gun comes with some great options, but one that I like to highlight is Lead from Gold plus Surrounded. Surrounded grants a 40% damage buff, which stacks with Surges and Hazardous Propulsion. Otherwise, I think Voltshot is another great option for easy jolt application and ad clear. Crux Termination 4 is a great roll drop rocket launcher. The role I suggest chasing is Quick Launch, Impact Casing, Reconstruction, and Explosive Light. This is a no-fuss roll and gets the job done every time. It may not be craftable, but it is essentially the ARC version of Apex Predator. Okay, for our final loadout, we have a slight spin-off. Instead of Outbreak Perfected, go ahead and use any legendary primary weapon you want. we're going to stick to Indebted Kindness in the secondary slot, and in the heavy slot, we're going to have Grand Overture. Personally, I like this loadout with the Disparity Pulse Rifle, crafted with Rapid Hit and Desperado. Easy Exodus rocket stacking, and it's just a bundle of joy to shoot. This is by no means what you need to use, it's just an option. As I mentioned before, Indebted Kindness is just a great rocket sidearm. The role I would go for is Lead from Gold plus Surrounded or Rolled Shot. The main star of the show is Grand Overture. This machine gun hits pretty hard on the primary fire, but is a bit unwieldy. Each primary shot landed loads a missile into the alt fire. Once a missile is loaded, you can hold the reload button to switch to the missile volley mode. These missiles are buffed by Hazardous Propulsion and are arc surges. With the catalyst, the missiles will blind enemies on hit, and those killed by the missiles will explode. This loadout is meant more for fun, but don't underestimate the damage that it can deal. That is it for the video. I apologize for the length, but I wanted to get all of the possible combinations out of the way. I value your time, so yeah. Anyway, if I missed anything, please let me know, and also let me know what you might want to see next. As always, thank you for watching, and happy farming. Stay safe.